Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Club Live here on Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. We are live on YouTube. As always, it is Friday night, so like the video, subscribe to the channel, get yourself involved in the live chat. I will be slightly rusty tonight because I've not been on in a little while, so I tend to lose my bearings, but I will be steered in the right direction by my esteemed, I was going to call it, you're not a guest, joining me tonight is Ross McLean. Ross, how are you, mate?
Oh, mate, I'm all good, thank you. I'm very much looking forward to this tonight. It's been a very, very filled week in terms of Rangers news. There's always been like every day. There's been something new, and we're here to talk all about it. Obviously, I have a show midweek, so we have very much saved it all up until this evening. So hope everyone's doing well, and yes, let's crack on.
Let's crack on indeed. Yes, hello chat. Good to see you all. And yeah, I was coming into this week, mate, thinking there's probably not going to be a great deal to talk about. We're probably going to need to go through the squad again, do all the thing that we've done before, and slate them even more, probably, some of the players. But yeah, Mr. Rangers has decided to flood this week with news. And yeah, we went on midweek. One, we didn't have a game. Two, I was away for work, so it was a bit difficult to get things done while I was away for work. Yeah, but we are here with a very packed agenda tonight, Ross, so we will get cracked right into it. We'll start off with Rangers confirming obviously confirming in public, basically, that the Rangers, along with the two parties that were involved, kind of publicly announced that talks are ongoing for the takeover. Obviously, we all know it's happening. We've known for a while that it's happening. We've known there's been various reports on how far along it is, what stage we're at, all the governance that's happening to go along with it. Ross, the fact that this has now came out publicly by Rangers and followed by the 49ers Enterprises footballing group, whatever they're called, entertainment.com-ish, whatever they are, and Kavanagh both coming out and confirming that the talks are ongoing. To me, and again, I'm reading between the lines, we have no inside knowledge on this podcast. You all know that. We just pass opinion on the news as it comes. This to me tells me that it's a lot closer than I probably initially thought. I would think within the kind of probably next 4 to 6 weeks, I think we could imagine this deal to be done. And now is the real time. If you're all for this takeover, don't get me wrong, if you're not, then you maybe not too excited about it. But for me, now's the time to get a bit excited about things.
Just a wee bit. Come on. We've got not much to smile about this season, so you've got to enjoy it while it lasts. This is massive. This is absolutely massive. I think obviously the last few weeks you've seen folk come into Ibrox. You've seen Sky Sports reporting this person's here, this person's there. It's almost there. It is almost there, unless massive some massive failure happens, it's practically there. So everybody, get your Uncle Sam costumes, get them ordered, get them on at Ibrox. You know the drill. So I'm looking forward to see what this kind of next year is going to be, because that is what it is branded as. People are seeing it as this is the next era of Rangers. You're going to see something that obviously traditionally it'll be Rangers to us, but there will be a new identity to who we are. To obviously we pride ourselves. We are the prestige club in Scotland. There's no other way to put it. This is potentially bringing it up another level, which is it's a very, very exciting prospect in itself. It's still obviously it's clear who it is. It's still blurry to me in terms of, I don't know what exactly to get excited about, but I reckon that, as you say, mate, the next 4 to 6 weeks there will be some very much news that will go, right, okay, so this is where we're going. But I'm buzzing for it. It's just, as I say, I'm glad that this has came at the time that it has, because going into the rest of the season, these 5 games will be potentially quite long. So as long as we have something to keep us smiling along, then that's all we can ask for. So it's very, very exciting for me, mate. I'm very looking forward to it.
Yeah, I was close to using that background again tonight.
That's brilliant.
I was extremely close to using that again. And yeah, look, I get where you're coming from, Ross. That I myself don't know the full how it's going to look, what their plans are going to be, but they were never going to come out and disclose any of these details while the deal was getting sorted. All these things have to remain pretty private for all sorts of reasons, non-disclosure acts, all these kind of things that they can't say. All the ins and outs of the deal won't become probably relevant and apparent to everybody until the deal is done. I think, well, obviously we'll come on and talk about the sporting director being appointed. You can see that Rangers are trying to do their business very quietly, without any leaks, without it getting anywhere really quickly. And to me, that's all positive. It is all positive signs. It really is. I think the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to is the change of direction. There will be a change of direction. The Rangers have to take a different stance, approach to how they are as a business, to how they are as a football club. Rangers are, as you say, the premier club in Scotland, always will be. We are a traditional club. We are absolutely, literally from the floor to the roof to each wall in heritage and history, and it is it's an old-fashioned club in that sense, but it doesn't mean that we can't then move to being a modern football club and still retain where our values are, our heritage is, and that's what I think they're going to need to find a balance with, and that'll also keep the fans on side, and maybe the fans that are not 100% sure about whether they want this deal to happen or not. I'm so excited about it because we are going nowhere right now under the current board. I've said this before on a podcast. Unfortunately, there isn't a sugar daddy there that's going to come in and just go, there's as much money as you want. I'm a Rangers fan. I'm just going to pump all this capital in, and there you go. You can go and you can pretty much do what you want with it. Because if you do that with the people that are currently running the board, and no disrespect to them, but they're not really the guys to be taking us to the next step, be it Rangers men or not. They are not the businessmen. They don't have the business mind in order to take us to the next step. And that's been highlighted by recruitment, by the disaster that's been with the sports bar that's now going to be no more. We've made wrong decisions along the way. Wrong decisions will happen in business, of course they will, but they shouldn't be consistent. They shouldn't be a consistent theme, whereas too many times Rangers have been that. These guys that are coming in are coming here to make money. And I'm not going to hide away and pretend that they're not. They are not doing this because they're Rangers fans. They're not doing it because they have a love for the club. They grew up Rangers fans. They're doing this because they can see potential in turning our club, into a real profitable business. It might take time, yes, but I still think the changes will be pretty quick and they'll be pretty relevant for everybody to see. So for me, mate, as soon as the club officially put it into the public eye that the talks were ongoing, progressing, etc., etc., I'm going, right, it's now going to happen. There's absolutely no doubt. Obviously, you can never say never. Things might fall through. However, there is no way Rangers coming out and saying this now. There is no way that it's not close. There is just no way it's not close, because everybody's obviously going to jump all over it. So, very much looking forward to that. So yeah, I say you're right, mate. Get out your American hats, your American whatever you need, and yeah, let's get going with it. I'm very much looking forward to it. Rangers obviously then appointed the sporting director. I'll be just a brief bit from it. I know you've all seen it now, but Rangers Football Club is delighted to announce the appointment of Kevin Thelwell as sporting director. Thelwell, 51, will join the Light Blues from Everton following the expiry of his contract with the Toffees. This again really all leads back to what I was saying, Ross, about Rangers doing their business quietly, because there was no real rumour of this guy. This guy wasn't on anybody's radar. It hadn't been put forward. It's not even one that got put up by one of the clickbait sites or anything like that. There was nothing along the lines of that. I don't know him. I don't have any experience with him. I have done my own research into him and had a look at him and read different bits on him. You're always going to find people that will criticise him, because that's just the nature of football. It's always going to happen. The biggest positive that I can give him, honestly, is that he's done this job before, that he's done this at a serious level before. That to me makes perfect sense. And also we've appointed the sporting director before appointing a manager. Again, makes perfect sense. That to me just shows that there is a change. You can see that there's a change. The way that Rangers are going to be run will be different. It will be for the better. So, what's your thoughts on the appointment?
I think as well, it's another bit of exciting news for Rangers, definitely. I think one thing for me is simply looking at the pedigree of him. That recently, obviously, Everton been at Wolves, been at the New York Red Bulls, etc. But even you look at go back to Patrick Stewart from Man U, Kevin Thelwell from Everton. This sounds the sort of lineup that should be, managing Rangers in the right direction. These guys who have had that experience at the top level in these Premier League clubs, that's the things we can get behind. There's obviously I didn't know much about it myself, did a wee bit of research. But Everton themselves had obviously their financial issues with that. It was a financial fair play building their stadium. He was very much an influential figure in getting that fixed as well. He was known for bringing in youth players, selling big players when they can get some cheaper elsewhere. Hurrah! It sounds brilliant. It's almost like I know a club that should do the same. But you look at Everton where they're selling the likes of an Anthony Gordon for who is it, McNeil at Everton, etc. Like these sort of big players, Richarlison, getting players off the wage bill and looking to bring in that new mould. That's similar to what we're doing. So all of a sudden, you start to piece two and two together, and there's it's starting to make sense. So again, it's putting these round pegs in the round holes. I mean,
Yes,
hurrah,
mate.
hurrah.
Yes.
So it's that in itself something to bring a smile to the face. But yeah, it's as you say, you make a good point. Putting these people in place at the right times as well. You want them, in place before the manager comes in, and then we can work on the manager. Having these kind of fundamental bits in is what we're looking for. So yeah, it's brilliant. I think there's definitely a lot to get behind with these new appointments in the board. Obviously, we do like to talk about the off pitch stuff. There's like the on pitch stuff. But off the pitch just now is probably where the most excitement's coming from, unfortunately, as much as I love it to be the other way about. So whenever these chances come to speak about off the pitch stuff, because it has been pretty poor for very, very long, let's be fair. So yeah, all the best to Kevin in his new role, and I look forward to seeing what it can bring.
If this is a true fact, by Joke Blue here, he spent 140 million and brought in 225 million. That's it. That's it. I know we are not going to spend 140 million. Let's not get carried away with ourselves. I wouldn't imagine that. But in saying that, look, as well, and you've all seen the clips that's flying about the other side of the city beginning to try and pick holes in this and why they're doing it, etc. And they're going to put us into admin again, and that's it. They're going to sell Ibrox and turn it into flats. I've seen it all, really. But overnight, whether they like it or not, and I'm not saying that it means all the money's going to go into us, but overnight, Rangers will go to being the richest club in the country. It's as simple as that. Whether the Celtic like to hear that or not, we will be the richest club in the country. And that's not that Rangers are going to go out and spend 40, 50, 60, 70 million, but the people that own you dwarf anything that Celtic have, genuinely dwarf anything that Celtic have. So don't read everything. They know what's coming. There's a blue tinted American flag coming over the hill, and we're all on top of it, and we're going to slide down that hill and have a great time with it. That's the way I look at it. But back to Thelwell, I just think it's the way that we've done we've recruited, the way we've done it. You look at his history that he's had. He's done various jobs. He's got his coaching license. He's been part of academies. He's worked his way kind of up the way. He's also done a director of football role as well as doing a sporting director role for Wolverhampton as well. And obviously Everton most recently, and you're like, yeah, like that all makes sense. And obviously there was links to him being he did work in MLS for New York. What are they called? New York
Red Bulls. New
York Red Bulls. That's exactly what they're called, mate. So he did work for them. I was going to say New York Rangers, and I was like, no, that's definitely not right.
That would have been ironic, yeah.
That would have been, yeah, it would have been. But and obviously links to America. So you know what I mean. It doesn't take two and two to be, but you don't need to look far to get two and two and come up with four. But I just liked that we didn't hear about it. That was another thing that I thought brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Then you're reading into it and I'm going, God, he's done this before. No one can say whether he'll be a success or not. We don't know whether he's going to be a success or not. Who knows? But the way that he's done it, his CV is probably quite high in terms of what was put to Rangers. Rangers won't only have been him we were after. There would have been 4, 5, 6 probably, I would imagine, narrowed down to probably 2, and he was the one that rose to the top of it. And yeah, for me, I'm like, superb. But there's no doubt in my mind, Ross, the American owners, they've had a say in this. And I think this is when you start to see the blurring of the lines between the how much are they controlling and how much are they not. There is zero doubt in my mind that they had an influence here. And that in itself tells you as well that the deal is probably about 95, maybe even more % going to go through. I don't think you can hide away from the fact that they will have been involved in this.
Oh, I know, definitely. It's appointments early. That's the one thing you're seeing these things come in before. It's just it all lines up. It's if it wasn't as confirmed as it was right now, you'd already be making the it's basically there. It's basically there. It's all well and truly on its way. So I mean, if it shows anything for me, mate, it shows intent. These guys have a vision that again we need to strive us forward because, as you say, we have stagnated in the last few years. Don't get me wrong, we have made some good progress. We have obviously the Edmonton House facility is fantastic. Disabled seating this season has been brilliant, but there's other elements of our club that this enterprise can take us forward. And for what you're seeing so far, even the likes of Patrick Stewart as well, you can get behind what's going on. So it's refreshing just to see finally these things that you can get behind ultimately, because as I say, for too long it's not been the case. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what else happens. I mean, if they're quiet with it and the behind the curtain bringing in a Kylian Mbappe for next season, I wouldn't mind that as well. So just keep as much under that carpet as you can, Rangers, and announce it whenever you like. But no, yeah, it's very, very exciting. And yes, please, more signings like that, please, Rangers.
It's all about the way the business is done and the way these things are handled. You're not heavily invested in taking over an institution that Rangers is. You're not involved in that, knowing how long it's going to take and just sitting back and watching them what they're doing with which will be your business at the end of the day. So all these things are put into place. All these things are very much handled with their influence getting put in. He might have, who knows, he might even been put forward by the consortium and said, we really like him. Can you please have a chat with him? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Sit down and have a chat with him kind of thing. Who knows? You don't know. But there's no way they're not involved. Of course they're involved. And especially with it teamed up with Rangers and the consortium that are going to take over Rangers publicly announcing that the takeover talk is happening. All of it's just like things are going. The ball is in motion. Things are about to get very exciting. And Thewell Wiesel said it's a huge honour for me joining the club with this size, stature and expectations of Rangers. From the first conversations, it was clear to me how ambitious the club is, and I'm excited to play a part in shaping its next chapter. I know how much Rangers means to so many people, and that brings both responsibility and motivation. Rangers needs to win. That's the bottom line. That's what he said, and I was like, I mean, you're saying all the right things, and look, I get that. I'm a sucker for wee punchlines, and that one, I was like, yeah, 100%. There's no doubt he's going to have his work cut out for him. There's a lot to do at Rangers, a lot to do. He's probably going to be heavily involved in redeveloping the way the academy's run, because ultimately we need to get more out of the academy for what we put into it as a football club. The investment that's in that, we have to be getting more from that. The Rangers women team has had a lot of investment and probably not as successful as they should have been. They do fine, the Rangers women team, and I'm not being disrespectful there, but they should have won more. I think they would admit that themselves, don't get me wrong. But yeah, and then obviously the first team is it's a rip apart job and start again, and he'll be heavily involved with Niles Coppin about rebuilding that and how they're going to do it and what kind of transfer strategy they're going to take. They'll be heavily involved with each other in that. The signing of players, recruitment of players will still lie with Coppin, but it will be under the direction as well, and probably assistance of Thelwell to go like, right, sign off things yes, sign off things no. So that's really good news for Rangers. It's the first step that should have been taken. We've appointed him I would imagine the managerial appointment is waiting in the wings. I'm not going to, I don't want to get your hopes up, but I would 100% expect it to be waiting in the wings as soon as this season's over, as soon as it comes out that the deal is finalised. I would be shocked within the next week after that we don't announce who the next Rangers manager is going to be, because there is too much to do. There is too much to do. So they have to get these things in place as quickly as possible, and then we have to start stripping the squad back, recruiting players, etc., etc. But no, very exciting time. Very, very exciting time. On to that, well, obviously it was the CEO fans forum at Edmondson House the other night. A lot of questions were asked about what's happening about the takeover. Obviously, Rangers can't publicly discuss that, or the full details of it, if you like. They can't publicly discuss it. I thought they managed it quite well. They weren't really batting it away, but they weren't neither confirming or denying things that you can understand why they can't. But the biggest thing I think that came from it was the fact that Rangers will be playing in Umbro kits going into next year. Now, Umbro fall under Castor's umbrella. By looking at it, it looks like Castor are pushing Umbro into most of their football contracts, if you like. So Rangers have extended with Castor, but it is going to be as Umbro, because Castor have the rights for Umbro. What that means, who knows? Is it going to remain Castor kits just with an Umbro badge on it? I don't know. Is it going to be Umbro materials, Umbro designs? Again, it's hard to tell. Is it going to stay Castor signs or whatever? I say very, very difficult to tell. I won't lie, Ross, before we go a wee bit deeper on it. I find this a strange move by Castor, and I know this is arrogant in my part because of how big Rangers are, and I believe how big Rangers are, and I know how big Rangers are. I find it strange that they would take their name off Ranger strips when Ranger strips literally go around the world, and especially with other kind of big name teams that they're involved in as well. I find it quite a strange move. What's your initial take on it?
I'll be honest and say I'm not sure yet. I think Umbro themselves, this season, you look at down south in the Premier League, for example, West Ham, Brentford, Bournemouth. You've got big teams who will wear Umbro, so there must be something decent about them there. But it does seem like a wee bit of a strange one. I was looking into it a wee bit. So Castor are they manufacture Umbro kits. So the only concern for me is the quality that we've seen with some Castor kits. Will that filter into the Umbro kits? I don't know. I think as long as we're not seeing that big square box logo, because I had to get that fixed about 8 times on the side of that kit. That was an absolute shocker. But I mean, Umbro, going back, looking at the archives, I don't have a Rangers Umbro kit in my wardrobe. They were decent. They were
the first time round with Umbro, the kits are spectacular. Generally, they are, but they're the kind of retro kits, and that always pulls on our heartstrings. Retro kits are for that. They pull you on your heartstrings because you remember better times. It's basically that's as simple as that. It's successful times. I will be honest, the modern day ones, when Rangers went back to Umbro after Nike, I believe, or Diadora, I think it was, after somebody in the chat will correct me. I wasn't the biggest fan of the kits. I really wasn't, and a lot of people were like, "What?" And I know that, but what do you mean? I didn't buy a lot. I don't have a lot of them kits, and I buy a kit every year. So, and I have done for I don't know how many years. So, but I didn't. There was a few of them. I thought I'm not buying that because I don't really like it. So, controversial as it may be, the first time round with Umbro, the kits are iconic, generally iconic. Second time round, not so sure.
Yeah, no, I know it's definitely. I'm excited for the potential traditionalist side of it. I do think Castor. I'll be fair. I've actually quite liked Castor's kits for the last season, especially the home kits. I think they have been decent. Though there has been some shockers in there. There has been obviously the pink collared kit is one that won't. It'll never make its way into the wardrobe for me. That's not one. That's
yeah.
one.
I don't have that one either. No,
not at all. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. As long as the quality is decent, and if anything, I'd actually say, and this is why I'm glad I'm on with you, mate, because I know you like a chat about kits, and I'm quite a fan of an out there kit. Like see, like this year's third kit, the blue and the red, actually nice. See if you keep that going, like have a traditional home kit, but maybe be a wee bit edgy with the third kit. Maybe the away kits, yeah, it comes and goes. It's like Borna Barisic. but the third kit, I like something a wee bit out there. So as long as we kind of keep it fresh, you know what I mean? Keep it modern. But if Umbro, from what I've seen, they look not bad. Obviously it's Will Hearts are sponsored by them. And I wouldn't say their kit's it's very, very plain. So something that will keep everybody happy. That's all I'll say. Not hitting too out there, but yeah, just something that will hopefully make its way into the wardrobe.
I've quickly just flung up Google there, mate, as I was talking to other search engines are available. By the way, I'm not sponsored by Google before anybody says that. And I'm like, well, maybe I'm being a wee bit harsh about that because there is a few of them where I'm like, oh, I really like that one. I really like that one. But there is other Umbro ones where I'm like, oh, I really didn't like that one. And I really didn't like that one. But remember the one that was a kind of cotton t-shirt with a white collar? I don't know if you even remember that one. The Yelovich, I think, wore that. Yeah, I loved that top, mate. That was an absolute cracker. And then the black one that season as well with the red arm bit as well. Absolutely loved that. I think that's when we won the league in as well under Waller. I'm sure it was. That's when we won the league in. There's other ones where I'm like, yeah, that was all right, but there's some I'm like, oh, it's a shocker that. I don't really like that. Well, it's interesting to see. One thing it will open the door for is them to recreate retro kits if they wish, because they now, I would imagine, have the full rights to that and they'll have the blueprints of it, so they'll be able to actually sell retro kits again, which is there is a market out there for that. It's another marketing plan. So I would expect I would expect there to be an element of the kind of modern aspect of it. I think Castor have tried to meet the retro and modern kind of crossover without really being fully successful, to be completely honest. I don't think, apart from last year's home top, I thought that was quite nice, last year's home top, because that was quite basic. But again, I'm a sucker for, as you say, the third kit. I love this year's third kit, mate. By far my favourite one this season. As soon as I seen it, I was like, buying that, absolutely buying that. So it's like something a bit different. It's nice to have something a little bit different. But yeah, no, I love that. It's interesting. The only thing as well with Castor that I thought is, a lot of guys will kick about in Castor golf gear and all that just because I know they are now. It won't all be Rangers fans that wear it, but in Glasgow and Scotland, the majority of people that are wearing Castor golf gear are probably Rangers fans, because it's just the way that it works. It's the way the world works. I don't see many people kicking about in just an Umbro jumper. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I remember my dad wearing Umbro and stuff when I was younger. I still remember his Umbro trackie that he had, or his house trackie that he used to call it. And I still remember that, and I'm just not sure. I like retro stuff, don't get me wrong, but I'm not sure it's got the same. I mean, Castor didn't really have a name, I suppose, and they were unheard of. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. It could work. It couldn't work. I just find it a bit strange that Castor want to take their name off the tops. I just find that a bit strange. I don't know why they wouldn't want to just keep their name on it. I don't mind the Castor logo. I think it's actually quite nice. I think some of the stuff that they have done has been great. Some of the stuff's been rubbish. You're always going to get that, I suppose. But yeah, we're not going back to Adidas, which is a bit sad for me because they are my favourite kits of all time when we had Adidas. So anyway, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the home top's like. I know there was this leaked one going about, the red, white, and blue one. The guy was wearing a t-shirt under the strip itself. I hope it's not that, because I did not like that at all. I was like, that's not nice. I was like, I'll not be buying that one. So just do something different, I suppose. Don't try and, if you're going to do a retro top, just do it the way that it is or the way that it was. Don't try and do anything else. Just do a full retro one. I mean, we say it all the time. Make it blue. Put an Umbro badge on it if you have to. A Rangers badge on one side, an Umbro badge on the other side. Put the sponsor on it. People will buy it. It doesn't need to be complicated. You can put a wee bit of white somewhere on it if you like. But again, if it was full blue, people are going to buy it. Really, it's as simple as that. So what was everybody in the chat saying about that? People happy enough with it? What they saying? 48 tops. You get 48. I can't be that far off that.
Standard.
I've got quite a lot. I do have quite. Maybe I don't have 48, but I must be about mid-20s anyway, at least, of kits that I've got. Must be. I've never counted them, to be honest. I think it'll be mixed. I think some people love it, some people won't. We just need to wait and see. But yeah, that's going to be Rangers as of next season. We'll move on to the press conference that was today, obviously ahead of the game against St Mirren. The kind of biggest bullet points to take from it, which we will discuss: Redvan's out for the season, Sterling's out for the season, probably longer. Over the summer, he'll probably not get a pre-season, and Balogun's out after surgery. Tom Lawrence is still somewhere, but actually nobody knows what's wrong with Tom Lawrence. He's just not in the squad, and Barry confirmed that again that he's still not available. But I think the biggest talking point to come for it was Redvan being out again. We're in a predicament now, Ross, where realistically we need 2 left backs and 2 right backs. That's the way I think everybody's looking at it now, because unfortunately Sterling is not reliable. We can't continue to just he's good though when he's fit. Nah, Kamar Roof was good when he was fit, but he was never fit. So you can't hold on to that. We can't be let down by that. Rangers well linked with Mulligan from Dundee, the right back at Dundee. We have been linked with him. He's out of contract, I think, at the end of this season. But yeah, Ross, Redvan being injured again. It just happens all the time, doesn't it? It's literally just one of these things that we go through as a football club, where we can't buy players that are consistently fit. A lot of money went into Redvan. We haven't seen the return that we put into him for it. It's time to cut our losses, even for Jeffrey as well. For me, I don't think he's to the standard that we need. I think he's had his chances to prove us wrong, and he hasn't. And yeah, it leaves us full backlist, really, because I think most would agree that James Tavernier should probably be moved away from the right. Most people would say away from the club, but definitely away from the right back position. It would be more a kind of right centre half role. I think he should be looking at going forward. But yeah, your thoughts on Redvan, mate? That's surely the end of him.
It has to be. It was one chat me and Ali had last week of players who I think should go, and Yilmaz was the first one for me. And I do feel bad because I know that there's a Haymarch out there who's got tears in his eyes. I'm sorry, Ryan. I'm sorry, but we do need to kind of cut our losses, unfortunately, because it will come to this will happen in, say this happens in November, December, and you're right in the middle of the season. You need players that we can rely on. As much as folk will slag Tav off, he's always fit. He is always fit.
He is.
So we need somebody who can fill that gap. The best abilities available at the end of the day. So we need somebody who can.
I like that one, mate. That was good. Where did you pull that one from? The best abilities availability.
I probably stole that one from CJ Novo. I won't lie. That's I think that's came from him.
Quite like that one, mate.
Just CJ. That's one from his. That's one from his book.
You used to just own that, mate. I don't watch CJ Novo, so you used to own that.
No, that's got to give him the credit he deserves. But one thing though, in the fullback and like the Batman symbol illuminating in the sky, Casemiro is back in training. So I hope that is something that could be potentially. Do you bring him back if you can? I quite liked Casemiro, to be fair. I do think he was decent. And one thing as well is that if our right back gets injured, he'll come in. If our left back gets injured, he'll probably come in. And likewise with the centre half. He's the sort of guy that we need, similar to Sterling. Although I agree we can't continue with Sterling, but just somebody who is versatile, but within reason. Let's not play him everywhere so he doesn't get to secure his own position. If we can find somebody who can fill those gaps, but somebody like Casemiro who can be solid in a position, would be good for me. So Yilmaz, it's an unfortunate one. I think there will be clubs in from who would want him, but at the same time, has his stock potentially dropped because he is so injury prone? I'm not sure. So we need to see what happens. But he has one for me that I'd be looking to move on. And even if we get, I don't know if we'll get the full money back that we paid for him, but we'll see if we can get a fee. And he'd be one of the first players for me, mate. I'd be looking to move on.
Yeah, Davey 1642 is giving me a bit of grief for not watching CJ Novo. Try getting my missus to say, I do a Rangers podcast. If I sit down in the living room and decide that I'm going to put Rangers pod stuff or Rangers fan media on the telly as well. That's not going to happen. I listen to a lot of Rangers podcasts when I'm out and about because I do drive when I'm for a living. So there's a lot of time I've got on the road. So I do listen to Rangers podcast. So I wasn't being derogatory or any disrespectful to CJ, not at all. I've spoke to CJ. I kind of half know CJ, so it's not like I'm bad mouthing him at all. I just don't ever really get the chance to sit down and watch him, unfortunately. So yes, please don't. Everyone's going to run over to CJ and go, "Do you know what Scott from Club at 22 said? He said you're right." No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. So CJ does a great job, by the way, just in case anybody's asking. But Ed Van, I'm just sick of it, mate. I just get to the point where I'm like, I'm sick of this. I'm just sick of this constant. You come back. Don't get me wrong. I think he was played probably too early and like more out of necessity than anything else. But it still doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? It still doesn't matter that he wasn't fit enough anyway for that game. It's still the same problem that we have. We've got far too many players that we cannot rely on that have been heavily invested in. I think I won't be the only one that's thinking Cortez is probably due another injury shortly, and he'll be out for another 4 months, whatever it may be, because we've invested money in him. And that's a kind of trend that has to break with these new owners coming in as well. But the new sporting director, but now Coppin doing his job properly and trying to eliminate these risk. Injuries are always going to happen in football, but I've never known anything like it at Rangers. I really haven't known anything ever like it. It seems like a continuous problem that we have, that we'll invest money into a player. He'll come, he'll have a good start, he'll look good, and then an injury hits, and then it's a reoccurring one. And it's the same can go for Sterling. I want nothing more than Sterling to be involved in the Rangers first team, because I think he's a great player. I love his physicality. I don't think he's the most technically gifted player at all, but I love his physicality. I love his determination. His guts. He's guts, all guts and glory kind of stuff. I like that about him. He's solid, absolutely solid. But unfortunately, he won't go a full season being without an injury, unfortunately, and it's just something that happens. His is quite a serious one. His is Achilles, so it is quite a serious one for Sterling. So he will be out for a considerable amount of time as he recovers from that, which is a shame. But it's another one that you've got to go. Unfortunately, there's no future for you here, and you're going to need to find somewhere else to play your football. Well, today, I think with Barry Ferguson, there was a bit of I'm going to put my cards on the table situation. I think obviously the press have been at him for the day he took over the job. Do you want this job permanently, etc., etc. Now that the season is over, effectively absolutely finished, there's nothing that Rangers can win today, win this season even. He kind of opened up a little bit more, I thought, and he pretty much said that he wants the job, and I don't think anybody didn't outright say that, but you can read between the lines in the way that he was addressing the media that clearly he does want the job. He does very much clearly want it. He says he wouldn't go and manage it anywhere else. He says he knows what the club needs, and now that he's been in the door a few months, and what he would do is his quote was, "I'll make my club a great club again, because I know what I need to do to fix it, or what needs to happen to fix it." He said he wouldn't. He said he'll either manage the club or go back to being a fan of the club and being an ambassador, which pretty much says for me that he's got no real interest of not being the top dog. Interesting, Ross, I think. Don't get me wrong, but I've said before that Barry Ferguson really possesses a number of the qualities that we would look for in a Rangers manager. He's Rangers, as much a Rangers fan as either of us two sitting here. He's been there, bought a T-shirt and some. He really has. He was a hero of mine when I was growing up watching Rangers, watching him in the middle of the park. But ultimately, the season's just kind of faltered away. And look, I know he came into a poison chalice at the start, considering where Clement had left it, and the kind of style of football that Clement had attempted for Rangers to play, and the way the players had been drilled. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's getting a real tune out of these players. The biggest thing for me is if there wasn't a takeover happening, would I be sitting thinking it's worth taking the risk on him? Probably, because of the way that I feel about Barry Ferguson in terms of what he meant to me growing up watching him. I would think, well, what is the worst that could happen? Generally, can't get any worse than what it already is. But with new owners coming in, with the investment that's going to be coming into the club, I'm not 100% sure Barry Ferguson would be on their shortlist. What's your thoughts?
I think, unfortunately, yeah, I think that's probably the case. Especially with, obviously it's all paper talk. There's some big names going about, and there will be a shortlist, I'm sure, that the 49ers do have in mind. I think by Ferguson, I would love nothing more. I think we all would. We would love absolutely nothing more. But I do think that if there's any chance of him getting the job, we can't be dropping points as much as we have been. I reckon that ship is potentially sailed in that sense. Obviously, I know that he's the players that they haven't done them great, but we've seen a lot of drop out, especially at home. And there's a we'll get on to previewing the next game, but there's records that could be broken again for all the wrong reasons. If this is kind of what we're seeing, it's not good on his CV ultimately. So I don't see him being the manager going forward as much as I'd love to. Although I will give him a lot of credit for what he's done because I think he has been good. Interestingly, it was going to come that he would probably put his cards on the table. It would almost be rude of him not to. He's got the opportunity there. But yeah, I hope that he looks back at it in a good light. And if he does go back to his ambassador role, then great. We'll thank him for his service. But make way, Jose Mourinho. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, well, Davey, 1642, said as well, member for 25 months. Fantastic, mate, honestly. That's absolutely superb. Really do appreciate that. That's amazing. Do we actually think Stevie G would come back? Interestingly, I sat and had a chat with my big cousin last weekend. I went and meet up with him. I hadn't seen him in a while. And we were just having a chat, as we always do. We tend to fall into talking about Rangers. And he actually said that he thinks Stevie G would be the one that makes perfect sense to come back. And David's quite a rational guy in terms of when we talk about things. Sometimes he says things, and I'm like, well, actually, that makes a wee bit of sense. And it's nice to hear a kind of different way of thinking about things. With Stevie G coming back, right? Again, it's another one for me that's a wee bit of a romanticism around it because I love the guy. Generally, I absolutely love the guy. When even before he was going to be the Rangers manager, as a football player, watching him growing up, Monday Night Football, my dad, even Steven Gerrard playing for Liverpool, I was like, what a player, man. Honestly, just an unbelievable football player. Then he came to Rangers and he done what he done. The aura that surrounds him is somebody that I would love to be controlling the dressing room. He demands respect, he demands effort, he demands all these things. I think his aura is a massive part of it. Would I welcome him back? Do you know what? Probably I would. I probably would welcome him back. I think he wouldn't be coming back so much with a remit this time. But however, it's a guy that, yes, he's been to Villa. Yes, it didn't work out. Obviously, he went to Saudi as well. Didn't quite work out. But as people always say, Liverpool and Glasgow are very similar places in terms of the people, in terms of the attitudes. And Stevie G might not be a Rangers fan, but he 100% understands what Glasgow Rangers is and what it means. He knows that. He knows the values. He doesn't need to be taught that. He's a very attractive name to have as your manager. Players would love to come and work under Steven Gerrard. So there's a lot of positives in it for me. There's always a wee bit of me that will go, oh, what if it doesn't work out? How bad is it going to be? But then you've always got to think to yourself, it's a risk with anyone. I mean, even if it was to be Mourinho and Gerrard are the two favourites just now with the bookies. Again, don't know how much truth's in that. I really don't, because of the way Rangers are doing their business. But I don't know. Gerrard, if it turns out to be Gerrard, Ross, would you be happy or sad about it?
I'd be happy personally. I would be happy because I do like Gerrard. I think obviously there will be the skeptical side of me that goes, "Oh, it's going back to what we know. Do you bring in somebody else?" But the one thing for me is that he won the biggest title in recent times, and it was a league title. It was a league title. He understands what it means to win domestically, and he did. To be fair to him, he had his good runs in Europe as well. There was some decent nights in that, even that 55 season. I think there was Andy Mack makes a good point. He's a good name for this USA for the takeover. They'll see the likes of a Steven Gerrard and go, right, okay. So I do potentially think that suited and booted Instagram story could have been something in that. We'll never know. Well, we might know. But I'd welcome Steven Gerrard back. It would be it would be some way to kick off the new year, that's for sure. One way, it'd be an unexpected way to kick off the new year, but I think there'll be a lot of people who would welcome back Steven Gerrard, and I would definitely be one of them. So yes, Steven, get yourself back up to gun if you want the job.
Yeah, as I say, it's just difficult for me not to think I would love that to happen, because I say, just because of how much I hold them in high regard. So yeah, I forgot to mention this at the start. Rangers on Tour has just said, evening all, just in from work. What happened to the socials, Scott? I've got no idea what's going on, right? Because YouTube get hit. They get took down, didn't think we were getting it back. Instagram get hit again. No idea how. Generally, I've got no idea how they managed to do it. But maybe I should stop clicking on links that say nude pictures of Anna Kournikova. And as I've said that, Ross won't even know who Anna Kournikova is, which is unfortunate. But look, I've got no idea. I don't know what happened to the socials. I really don't. The Instagram was hacked, and there was all sorts of nonsense going about. So yes, I'm sorry about that. It was so bad, actually. I thought, I'm just going to bin this. I'm just going to put this in the bin generally and just stop using the socials. But yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting, the stuff they were putting up. I don't know what it is. I genuinely think it's a mad bot thing. I've got no idea. I'm not a clue. So sorry everybody if you were offended by any of that, but it wasn't me. Obviously, clearly wasn't me that was doing it. So yeah, that was a bit of a laugh and a half. Not right. We'll move on to the preview, mate. Regarding St Mirren, the wee play tomorrow in Paisley, 3:00 kickoff, not on the telly unless you're out of the country for a brief period in the afternoon. I'm sure you'll be able to find a way to watch it in a different country. Read between the lines there. And yes, I say a game now that Barry Ferguson has put quite a... No, they didn't really put a spin on it for me. I didn't really know how he would approach it. It was either going to be one or two ways that he would give people a chance, he would give people an opportunity, but he has said to the players, and these pretty much laid a demand that he wants 15 points out of 15 for these last 5 games, which is going to be a tall order. It generally is. These players have shown that they're not very motivated when it comes to games that don't really mean anything. He said again that they had a good training week, but he said that again before the Hibs game, and then look what happened there. So interesting to see what he does. Ross Murn, not in great form. They've not been particularly good recently. They'll be up for it though. Rangers are going away. That's probably the only good thing, is the fact that we're going away from we're going. Sorry, Justin's just distracted me. What's happened now? What happened to the donation button, Scott? It's been going for a good few weeks now. I've got no idea. I don't even know if I wasn't there. I'm going to look into that. Ross, talk about St Mirren for a minute while I go check something.
I will do. Unfortunately, lads, I've got another bad stat for you. The last time that St Mirren beat us 3 times in a row was 1979 to the 80 season. So there's potentially another record to be broken. I apologise to bring that to your ears on this Friday evening, but there shouldn't be that much pressure in a game against St Mirren. But that's what's riding on it. Another bad record back in the 1980s. So that's something that we need to see change, for sure. Obviously, that game, like, it was at Christmas time, the away game, and it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. I almost find it weird watching Rangers away from home, like, losing as frequently as I have this season. I hope I don't see it again Saturday. But I think there's a lot in a way to play for in these last few games. Don't get me wrong, not in terms of the points, but there's players who I want to see playing. One man in particular, for me, Clinton Insiala, I want to see for all 5 of these games. I'm a big fan of the lad. I do think he's very, very good. So I hope there's a few players, even the likes of, I'm not sure where Bailey Rice is just in terms of getting back to fitness. Obviously, we've seen Finlay Curtis come in. There's an opportunity for these players here. For me as well, one guy who'll probably go under the radar, I think Igaman needs to get some goals back in him. He's a guy who, if he can finish the season on a bit of a high, then I think that will do him the world of good, because he's maybe taking a wee bit of a hit. So getting a few goals back for him would be good. So St Mirren, not in the best of form. A very good mate of mine who's a St Mirren fan, who I frustratingly saw gallivanting on the telly the last time they beat us. So I hope I'm not seeing that again. So I hope I'm not seeing your face, Mark. That'd be nice. But yes, I all I can ask for is 3 points, beating up the road. That's simply all I can ask for.
I think if these players have got anything about them and they've got in to show that they want to be here next season, the minimum requirement is to win, I would say, at least 12 points out of these games. I don't think they're going to get away with anything less than that. I think as fans, we're a bit sick of seeing the kind of half-arsed performances that we've seen from a majority of these players when it's not really been a game to be motivated for. We always say as Rangers, the bare minimum that you have to show is effort, and it's effort for the length of time that you're on that park. You should never be getting outrun. You should never be getting outfought by your opponent. It's as simple as that. You should be the one putting more effort in than they are. So it'll be interesting to see that. I think I fixed the buttons. Everybody know that I'm fishing or anything like that, but in case you can check, you might need to refresh your thingy. But I think I don't know why they're off. I'm not very good at this running a podcast thing, mate. Honestly, all this hacking's kind of flung me off my stride. But I think I have fixed it now. I didn't know they weren't there. Genuinely, I didn't know they weren't there. I turned them on when I get told YouTube I could turn them on, and I did, and I didn't ever go back to them. So apologies about that, everybody. So yeah, look, I say I just expect Rangers to put on a bit of a performance, and look, the likelihood is that they probably will. There's not any pressure on it. I would imagine that Celtic will have the league wrapped up by the time we kick off in Paisley. I would imagine it'll be over at that point. I think they only need a draw. I would expect them to win quite comfortably tomorrow. And yeah, as I say, it'll be just down to Rangers to try and get a little bit excited about next season. I think with the 5 games that are remaining, we want to win every game, and I think the old firm will always be. We'll always say it's going to be a dead rubber game, and it probably is, but it's still imperative, I think, for Rangers to show that we can still beat them, even when they are champions, and even when it's with this squad, who have completely underachieved massively this year, absolutely massively this year, but we still have to make a marker going into next year, and also to show the new owners, to show them that they could be part of the future, to show your new sporting director that you could be part of the future with the club. So yeah, it's an opportunity for the players that want to take it. I just wouldn't hold your breath and expect many of them to take it just based on previous experience this season. So yeah, it's kind of double a kind of positive negative thing there, but I think it's spot on. Right, mate, we'll finish up with teams and scores. I'll be intrigued to see what Barry does. The way that he spoke about it today makes me think it's not going to be a weakened team. It's not going to be just flinging everybody that's been on the bench and kind of like we done before the second leg against Bilbao. I think it'll be quite a strong team. I think he'll be wanting to win. They want to start these split games with a win. So I am intrigued to see the lineup. I think I'm probably going to pick what I would like to see. But I don't know if that will necessarily be the case. And as Rangers on Tour just said, we will give them a 2-goal head start. Of course we will. That's what happens when you play Rangers. Luckily, you get 2 goals to start off with. Right, Ross, I'll let you go first, mate. What's your team for tomorrow and your score prediction as well?
So I'm starting Kelly in goal. I reckon we'll see Kelly. You might see Butland shut down, but I'd be playing Kelly for the time being. I think he's going to stick with the back 3. I'm going Suter, Inciala, and Ali's man, Robin Proper. And then Tav and Jeffy as your wing backs. I'm going Raskin, Diamande, Hadji in the midfield, and Igaman in Tierney. That for me. No D9 for me. And I'm going to go 3-1 Rangers with a Tierney first goal scorer.
Justin Muir, Ali's not here, but God bless America. Thank you very much, Justin. That's very much appreciated, mate. You didn't need to go and do that, but I thank you for bringing it to my attention, and also thank you for giving us a donation, mate. Honestly, it's absolutely spot on. Really do appreciate that. Yeah, I think he'll go to. Do you say 4 at the back or 3 at the back? Sorry.
3 at the back for me.
So I think he'll go back to a 4. I think it'll be a more conventional kind of 4-3-3 that he'll go with tomorrow. I think that's what I would like to see. Not that I'm a massive fan of 4-3-3, but I'll come to my reasoning about it. So I think I'm ashamed. I think it'll be Kelly. I think Butland I think it's just there's not really a point in playing him because I don't think he'll be here next season. I really don't. Andrew Muir as well. Thank you so much, mate. Generally, that's superb. He's honestly done need to do that, but thank you. Generally, that's very, very much appreciated. But I don't think I don't see the point in playing Butland because I just don't think he's got a future here. I really don't. I think he's past what we need as a Rangers number one. So I would continue with Kelly. So Kelly, Tavernier at right back, Suter, Enciala, Jeff Date's going to need to be at left back, unfortunately. I'm going to go Raskin, Rice, and Diomande. Diomande a wee bit further forward. I think Rice should be fit enough now. It was a knock to his neck, so you would like to think he's fit enough now. And then I'll play Curtis, Egerman, and Tierney. Is what I would play as the kind of front three. I would love to see the boys get a go, the ones that have kind of been around the fringes. I think Rice deserves it. I think Curtis deserves it, and I think he can't be any worse than Cortez. But Cortez is we're going to have to play him because we're going to need to see what he's made of. We have to buy him. There's no way out of that. I'm not sure if Rangers can buy him and immediately put him out on loan, if you like, which might be something that they look at. I don't know. But again, we've not really seen him consistently enough to see if he's got anything about him. But he's one that I have seen since he came back thinking you're really struggling for motivation. Maybe it's a wee bit of trepidation with the fact that he has been out injured, but I'm like, you don't really look motivated for this, and you don't look motivated to want to win your jersey and win your space in the team, which will stand out like a sore thumb right now because whether Rangers players like it or not, they are under the microscope from all angles, literally all angles right now. So, but that's a team I would go with. I would not play Dessers, I would play Egerman. And I'm going to go for, well, St Mirren scored twice. So I'll go 4-2 Rangers and I'll go Egerman to get a hat-trick. There you go. Get that in your coupon, everybody. If that happens, you'll see a very happy me tomorrow. Tell me, don't you worry about that. You'll see me very happy after it. That'll do us for tonight. Ross, thank you very much. Davey, thank you very much. Very much appreciated, honestly. That's absolutely superb. Everybody, you have been far too generous tonight. That's very, very nice of you. But yes, for tonight, Ross, thank you very much for joining me. Enjoy your trip to wherever you're going overseas to watch the game tomorrow.
Thank you. It's Rome for me. I'm off to Rome tomorrow.
Rome.
And yes, and thank you for the donations. That is unbelievable. So I hope everybody enjoys their weekend. Wherever they might be in the world, get your passports looked out. Don't forget the passport, of course. I shall see you at Edinburgh Airport for your flight. So yes, thank you as always, everybody, and we shall speak to you very, very soon.
Yeah, Ali is gallivanting tonight, and he's a wedding tomorrow, not his, because obviously I would probably. Well, I don't know. I'm presuming Ali would invite me to his wedding. By the way, I know he's all got. I know he's I got engaged last weekend, and thank you for all the kind messages. Just so everybody knows, I'm very open to people wanting to sponsor the podcast. So, like, in terms of wedding venues and like wedding caterers and all these kind of things, like if you know anybody that might know something or maybe help out, then please do pass them along to us. That would be very much up to me. That'd be very much appreciated. They're not cheap, I'm telling you. Now that we've obviously she said yes, and we were kind of looking. I'm going, right? Is that how much this is? Like, dearie me. So yes, in fact, I'm thank you everybody for the donations. That's going to help massively. No, genuinely, thank you everybody for the donations. It's far too kind of you. I am kidding and being very serious. If you know anybody that can do deals with weddings and stuff, I'm your man. Give me a shout. And we will be back tomorrow with a reaction after the game. Before you go, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, all the usual stuff. Very much hope your team wins tomorrow. That would be great. And I'll speak to you tomorrow after the game. We are Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. Cheers, everybody.